Welcome, welcome. It is so excellent to sit down with you today for week 2 of our summer camp. And what we're doing is exploring our greening force. And our greening force is our vitality, our ability to be natural. So in our circadian walk around the circle of the year, summertime is where we put the pedal to the metal and we're growing. And yet at the same time, we don't want to let time and our energy run away with us. We don't want to go into overwhelm. And we also don't want to be distracted. So for this short period of time that we spend together, we remind ourselves to put some banks on our rivers and get ourselves into a currency that lets us flow. And each of us flows in our own way. So there's nothing that is set in stone, and there's nothing that is, you have to do it this way. What we're doing in summer camp is we're mapping out a way of looking at the universal symbol called the triangle. The triangle in the universal symbols brought to us by Angeles Arian. The triangle represents the capacity to dream, to set a goal, to have a vision, to move up toward something. And so it makes sense that in the summertime, we're growing ourselves, we're growing up. As mentioned previously, my Buddhist teachers would like to remind us as Westerners that one of the best things we can do for ourselves is learn the mantra, O Soha, grow up. Just be growing up, be maturing. So in week 2, we're going to explore some ways in which other wise ones were looking at the archetype of the hermit as the masculine traditional vision of the hermit, but we're also expanding that into the 21st century, recognizing that the hermit can be masculine, the hermit can be feminine, the hermit can be androgynous, and the hermit can also be an animal spirit, anything that leads us into awareness of our own innate, inherent capacity to grow. So in week 2, we look at our skills and we also look at our beliefs, not again in any way that we're going to be judging them, but just getting to know them, becoming more aware. What are my skills and my capabilities at this point in my life? What have I learned that I'm talented in and excited about? And what about beliefs? Sometimes we outgrow the way that we thought things needed to be, or we realize that our culture or the social stigma of certain ways of looking at our physical life, our emotional life, or even our spiritual, religious life doesn't really fit for us anymore. And so in our brief time together in summer camp, we're leaving space to begin to consider these different areas of growing up. We use a spiral bound sketchbook or any type of material that you want in order to track your movement from the base of the triangle up to the peak of the triangle. So we're moving up from the bottom to the top. We're growing up. We're moving upward. We're getting a longer view. We're able to see more when we're up at the height than we are when we're down in the valley. So it's very exciting to be here with you. I'm so glad that you made the time and make the time, even if only for 15 minutes a day, to consider your journey to your manifest station. And as always, we like to dedicate everything that we're doing in the It's About Time to Create Progress Without Pressure series. We like to dedicate our work recognizing that no matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what we're up to, no matter what our educational background or our financial status, every human being, every living being on the planet truly would like to be happy, would like to be peaceful, and would like to be free, liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. With that in our heart, with that in our mind, we move forward into week 2 of Explore Your Greening Force. So I'm going to switch over to share screen. And again, hopefully I can do this with some aplomb. Let's see if I can maximize this. And I do want to see if I can move myself out of the equation a little bit this week. Didn't work last week, though I did think it was working. And I'm going to open the slideshow from the beginning. And off we go to Explore Your Greening Force, week 2. And in week 2, we are giving ourselves an opportunity to journey a little bit further into the manifestation. We're exploring in week 2 skills and values and how they support us as we're growing up. We want to remember that the 4-week summer camp places joyful focus upon the growth of our individual greening force. And as we climb, we're accompanied by inner guidance. We're never by ourselves. We're never alone. We're never left comfortless. There's always inner constructs, archetypal energies. We could call them angelic forces, divas, sprites, fairies. There's so many different names for the unseen support that surrounds us. We're calling in the Hermit specifically for our 4-week summer camp, and we're letting the Hermit remind us that it's useful to live simply and humbly and to practice mental stillness so that, like a deep pond in a forest, we can journey together with this sense of connection to the natural world, to something deeper, wider, and higher than our little self. And we do that by reminding ourselves of our curriculum. The summer Circadian curriculum is to engage the keywords of growth, which leads to trust. And when we trust, we can open to more love. So in week 2, we consider growth, trust, and love regarding your skills and your capabilities. We review the covenant. Our Explore Your Greening Force covenant is set up so that you can focus in on the south gate and the summer energetic field that goes from summer solstice over to fall equinox. The first 46 days are from summer solstice over to August the 1st. So we're still in the first 6 weeks of summer. And it's a really it's an exploratory time, a time to consider how we can expand the creative structures that support us. Creative structures can be everything from, knowing how to keep on task with a goal, a vision, a dream, an inspiration, how to have a buddy system in place, kind of like what we're doing here, where we can support one another energetically to apply growth and trust and love to our values, our individual values. So as we move forward, we allow ourselves to, let me move this out of the way, there's something on the screen. We want to bring our fondest dream, our most exciting idea, our deepest inspiration, our vision, our goal, any project that we have sitting on our work table, any relationship that we would like to enhance, if there's a challenge that's coming to meet us or an opportunity that is in front of us, we want to put that into our summer camp and make that part of our journey. We want to do that by acknowledging the skills and the values that support our goal or our vision, our dream, our inspiration. And bottom line, no matter what we're up to, no matter who we are, we're really looking for ways to be whole, to be a balanced, stable, whole, hopefully happy, or at least for the most part, a joyful being, human being. And with that, we also want to support the goal of knowing that we are enough. We are enough. I am enough. I have enough, and I do enough. These are not easy concepts to stay consistent with. We have to remind ourselves again and again and again. I am enough. I have enough, and I do enough. Summer, being the doing time of the year on the circadian calendar, can really put us into overdrive. We just do too much. So in Explore Your Greening Force, we're inserting the idea of calming down, inviting in the wise guidance of the Hermit, and remembering that in week 2, our manifestation skills connect us to our capabilities, and we can learn new skills and new capabilities all through our life. We never outgrow the opportunity to be a lifelong learner. And so in week 2, we're the Hermit can teach us, and the Hermit teaches us just as the Hermit guides and coaches us through stillness, through listening, through opening up our workbook and asking a question about our fondest dream, our inspiration, our current challenge. We ask for guidance, we ask for support. And if it doesn't come right then, no worries. When we go to sleep, we place our head on the pillow. We say, old friend, what would you do? Which is, again, calling in the energy of the wise ones, the Hermit in our specific invitation for summer camp this year. We also, as we're moving through week 2, we're looking at our values. Our values and our beliefs are deserving of mentorship. In other words, we might not really be clear about what's valuable in our life at this moment in time. We're not the same as we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago. And our values and our beliefs, again, are deserving of evolution, which is why we're working with the triangle. It represents moving up, rising up from a stable base. So week 1, we built the base with looking at our environment, which creates the foundation for our being, and looking at our ability to ascertain whether our behaviors are useful or not anymore. Is this behavior helping me, or is this behavior hindering me, holding me back? And then this week we build, as we're moving up toward the manifestation, we build by looking at our skills and our capabilities, and then our values and our beliefs. Everything that we're doing here is open to your own research. What do you think of when you think of skills in your own life? What do you imagine are your innate capabilities? And also, what have you learned by going through your educational process? And can you make a note of your skills and your capabilities without judging any lacks? Really notice what you have, what is substantial to you, what is consistent for you. And the same with values and beliefs. Again, they morph. They're constantly, they're malleable. They're not set in stone. We don't want to become fundamentalists and think that we understand our values and our beliefs in an ongoing fashion. We want to be fluid and in the flow of our life. That's what it means to explore our greening force. We allow ourselves to be mentored by the wise ones, the unseen plane of holy helpers, mighty companions, old friends, the archetypes that we work with, in this case, the Hermit. And just recognize we don't know what's going on in the mystery. We ask for support. We acknowledge the skills and the values that support our goal. And we also invite in, constantly reminding ourselves that we came here complete, and we have a healthy 6-year-old who really understands the joy of the adventure of exploring our greening force. With that healthy 6-year-old, we then move into a stronger connection this week with the Hermit as a teacher and as a mentor. And we take this wonderful quote from Goethe, concerning all acts of initiation and creation, there's one elementary truth, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then Providence moves too. So in week 2, we want to really, look at our commitment. What are we up to right now? Times are wasted, and that's not foreboding. That's exciting. We're moving closer and closer to the opposite shore. The shore of birth is a long distant travel away from us now as we move closer and closer to the shore of death. So we don't know when that will be, and we want to grow our skills and grow and trust our skills and love our skills. So in week 2, we inventory our skill set. And we also want to explore the greening force of our values in week 2. And so again, we do a little bit of an inventory of the way that we grow, the way that we trust, and the way that we love our values and what we stand for, what we stand up for, who we really are, what we can voice, what we have to express, what is our greening force. In week 2, we want to invite in Abraham Maslow because I remembered, well, he's got this wonderful triangular system. You can Google Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you go to images, all you'll see are all these triangles. So I invite you to do that. I just made this one for us so that we can remind ourselves that, again, we start at the bottom of the triangle and we work our way up. And the first 5 are really what's the word, they're attributed to Maslow. And then the top 2, self-actualization and transcendence, they've been added in over time because others following Maslow's work realized that this was what he was really leading us to. And in the 21st century, we want to be whole. We want to be engaged. We want to be excited by our own creative energy. And so Maslow says we need something bigger than we are to be awed by and to commit ourselves to. And his little ladder up the triangle that is listed here really gives us that sense of momentum. Again, we take care of our biological and physiological needs. We look around and feel safe and create a sense of safety for ourselves. And we have to create our own belongingness and love because nothing from outside does this for us. So we belong to ourselves and we love ourselves. We esteem the fact that we're in this life and in this body, and we're cognitive of the fact that we can actually educate ourselves to continue to move forward in ways that are dynamic and never ending. And that aesthetic, that connection to the life force that we have been gifted with leads us to the top 2 tiers on this pyramid of feeling self-actualized and transcendent of the material plane, which doesn't mean we're airy-fairy and out of touch with the foundation that we've built in the material world. We're just not attached to the material world. It doesn't sustain us completely. Angeles Arion has a beautiful quote here that goes along with our triangular symbol for this session that you can take in. And again, everything that's offered here is so that you can mine the gold as it comes to meet you through week 2. The Hermit's Council, and seeing the Hermit this week as the teacher and as the mentor, lets us know that the Hermit, high up on the top of the mountain, has abandoned the conventions of society so as to follow inner conviction. No longer merely a mirror reflecting the influences of outside circumstances, the symbol of the Hermit represents prudence, caution, and restraint in favor of introspection, turning within rather than thinking that anything in the outside world is going to manifest our station in life. The Hermit represents solitude and withdrawal into self, where there is wisdom and peace, even if only for 15 minutes a day. We are not throwing any part of our life off into the bushes. We are folding in explore your greening force so that we find a fit in our own life. The Hermit says, say to yourself, I look inward, seeking the guidance of my higher self as I journey toward deeper understanding and enlightenment. And I adore this image that somebody posted somewhere along the line with this little feline lying on the lap of the Buddha. Just a really beautiful, yeah, my 6-year-old loves that idea of how it is to just be okay, just feel okay. Hildegard is our feminine indicator of the energy of the Hermit. She represents the divine feminine, which is such an empowering aspect of the 21st century. Pay attention, just notice how many voices of the divine feminine are coming to meet us, and be connected to your own divine feminine. Be connected to that divine feminine nature that is part of who you are. So you can explore this. And I love the image that I found of the woman with the distaff carrying a basket of spinach, as we're talking here about the healing power of green this week. There is a link that you can follow here. Just copy it and put it in to your search engine, and you'll find a beautiful, the healing power of Hildegard, wonderful website. This is a little bit of a turn back toward earlier programs that we've done in our circadian circle of the year, when we worked with the dancing the wheel of psychological types in the spring during Emerge and See. We touched briefly in on the 7 light arrows of the star maiden circle. We also touched in on the circle of the foxes, the circle, the walk of the wolf, and the 7 light arrows go with the walk of the wolf. These again are areas that you may find are useful for you in week 2, when you're looking at your skills, at your capabilities, and at your values and your belief systems. Can you walk through these 7 light arrows and find how you fit into each of these designations? Self-awareness, self-appreciation, self-acceptance, self-pleasure, self-love, self-actualization coming up again, as it does with Maslow, and this wonderful, wonderful idea of being impeccable. And this is a Mary Oliver quote from one of my favorite quotation calendars each year. And the asterisk up at the top of the Star Maiden Circle is continued down in the bottom border, reminding us that we may have worked previously together in It's About Time, and that all of your notes and all of the programs, they blend, they blossom together. So you can go back into any of your other work that we've done in the It's About Time. And if this is your first program, welcome. But the idea is that we are following the cycles, the circadian cycles of the seasons as creatives. And we are establishing a conscious connection to being natural and to following the natural cycles of the seasons of the year. This is our bonus for this week. I'm very excited about it. I love how things come to meet us, and you must begin to notice how things just synchronistically and serendipitously come to meet you. So your bonus for this week is this wonderful, again, the School of Life, 2 reasons people are immature. And we can all gain insight and awareness because we're all humans, we're all fallible, we're all dealing with our own opportunity to explore our greening force. And year by year, that energetic field meets us in a new and different way. We're never the same 2 days in a row, much less 2 summers in a row. So I invite you to watch 2 reasons people are immature, and glean, make note of anything that you learn as you go through that experience. And then next week, in week 3, we will be exploring the top 2 tiers of our pyramid, our our wonderful mountain on the way to the manifestation. We'll be exploring identity and vision. These are the pinnacle of our journey. And so it's going to be really wonderful to get to that peak experience. The Hermit will counsel us as a sponsor and as an awakener, and Hildegard will show up representing the divine feminine. We have our Facebook page where you can come in and share with us what you're gaining and experiencing. We grow together, and it's really exciting to just see what we all are finding as we're exploring our way up the mountain to our manifestation. Reminder, on the 4th week, we will be having a Zoom call live so we can integrate and actually communicate with one another live. So I ask you, please do write down our date and time. It is August the 5th, a Thursday evening, 7:15 Eastern time. So put that in your calendar now. Make sure nothing gets in the way of week 4 of Explore Your Greening Force so that we can all be together and do conscious closure. It's always really powerful to bring our programs full circle. I'm going to come back out of our share. And here we are. I want to thank you so much for being here in week 2 of Explore Your Greening Force. We're climbing this beautiful universal symbol, the triangle, the pyramid, the arrowhead. We're climbing, we're growing up, we're moving, we're evolving, we're stepping up and up and up week by week, each in our own way, using the creative prompts that are offered through the slides. You might definitely get insight and inspiration to go off in another direction that is prompted by what you're seeing here. Follow your own inner guidance. That is what the circadian cycles and seasons of the year offer us as creatives. We explore all through the year. And in the summer, which is the primary doing time of the year, we're not suggesting that we sit it out. We want to be fully engaged. So I trust that the week 2 information is going to filter into your dream time, and that you're going to hear the whispers. You're going to get ideas that are going to enhance the journey that you are on, following your fondest dream, your vision, your goals, your inspirations, addressing your challenges, your relationships, and your opportunities, all as a circadian creative. I send you much love, and I will see you in the Facebook page and again next week for week 3. Take good care.